Hi everyone. I hope you are doing fabulously in this new world that we are living in. Hello, Linty London, Alicia DeMoss, and Andrew Cruz, and Crazy Potts, and Justin Wynn, and Angelos, and Michael Mossberg, B Dubs, Super Painting 62, Bourbon, Ohio, Sheepdog Patriot, Pooch Palace, Gershom Brandt, Tony Bello, Donna Davidson, Oracle 11, Anthony Van Zant. Hello. Hello, hello. So, Space Indian, hello. I do want to thank Jeffrey P., Scott S., and Roberta K. for their donations. I very much appreciate it. Much appreciated. Much needed, much appreciated. So thank you for thinking of me and caring. Yeah. Thank you very much. So, we've got weather tonight. We had weather today. Many people are now suffering the consequences. See all the igniting of supercells. Now going into Arkansas. We've got them in the northeast of Texas. They're, wow, swimming fast in the atmosphere. Coming out of Oklahoma. And boom, right on the border. They dissipate in Missouri. Boom. And from Kansas into Missouri, got Iowa, Nebraska, and a very strong pulse up here in Minnesota. Got an awful lot of precipitation blips. The Northwest. Also into Arizona. So, what did all of this bring us today? This weather? You like this? It's like a radar blast, blasting away the precipitation right here in Wisconsin. So, very unfortunately, a lot of damage. Lincoln, Nebraska.
Right there, one. Yeah. Yeah, there's Cornell, guys.
It's still down.
Wow.
That shit getting closer.
Is that coming?
That's coming us.
Man, that is nasty.
You can hear the tornado sirens. Also in Bennington, Nebraska.
This is it right here. That's the base. This is the wall cloud right here. The whole thing is turning. And look at the base of the cloud there. My goodness. Here you can see this stuff coming this way. And then on the other side, it's spinning around the other way. Wow, I hope everybody in that west part of the metro. Here's Elkhorn. That is looking off to, I'm guessing, the north, south. Well, that's a bad spot. So that is kind of coming right in that direction. Incredible view. If you punch up our graphics dual pole real quick, you'll see the blob that we have of debris. Oh, look at this camera. Live view from the Methodist Women's Hospital. Look at that right there. It's
Tornadoes used to be quite narrow. They would touch the ground. They may be on the ground for a couple of minutes, and that was it. Now they're on the ground. This one came into Iowa, and they're massive. It's called weaponized weather. And don't we have a lot of it here in western Omaha, Nebraska. Seek shelter now, a tornado moving into Elkhorn area.
Western Omaha residents seek shelter now. A tornado is moving into the Elkhorn area, and that's near where this video...
Just in case somebody is watching, this was posted now about 2 hours ago. So if you're anywhere near Elkhorn, you've been spared if you haven't been damaged by this tornado earlier.
Video was captured there by Corey Gherkin near Lincoln, Nebraska and Elkhorn, Nebraska. Take a look at the size of that twister there. So a very, very massive storm system in the end of April, making its way kind of through this plain state, smack dab in the middle of the country. Fox Weather's still on this. Let's watch.
Tornado that is still on the ground. This video occurred a little bit more than an hour ago. It's courtesy of our exclusive Fox Weather storm tracker, Corey Gherkin. He watched this storm develop. We watched it with him in real time develop, cross Interstate 80, which is the road that he's on right here. It's cycled. It's had various looks on Doppler radar and intensities. Right now, it looks every bit as strong as it ever has. A signature.
Douglas County, Nebraska. This is one area that the tornado hit. It is so heartbreaking to see this, man. Flattened. Boy, I hope these people have the finances to rebuild, or, family where they can stay. Look at this, man. Wow. Wow. This is also Nebraska. Nebraska. Look at this tornado.
Northeast Lincoln, Nebraska.
imagine driving down the interstate and seeing something like this?
Oh my God.
There are patents on tornado, manufacturing tornado. Yeah, and I have videos on my Never Lose Truth channel, the playlist, the weather modification, tornadoes and hurricanes, all manufactured. Lincoln, Nebraska.
Newman Grove, and this takes us back to the middle of the afternoon when these storms first started to begin. Hail, the sirens going off there in Newman Grove, and this is that still image of the tornado that formed in the Lincoln area that got through Blair, Gretna, Modale, Mondamon. That was a still image from earlier today, and then within the last hour we've received video from Lincoln, Nebraska as well, showing that tornado that crossed the interstate system there. And as we reported on that train incident.
Oh, the tornado hit a train. All right, so what we got, massive wedge tornado moves through Iowa.
Massive wedge tornado that's just taken over an entire interstate. I've never seen anything like this. We're going to come back, check with you. I know you're chasing this as well, and there has been, sadly, major damage out of this, and so we'll check in with you. Thank you for all the hard work. We got to get into this team and look at this if we can. Yeah, let's start telestrating over and showing you Brett Adair. This is now in Harlan, Iowa. We were showing you that city. It was just to the west of there. Look at this. This thing right here that you're witnessing in front of you is a tornado. I know it's tough to even fathom. While talking to Corey, look at by the way, in the foreground, the wind speed. You see this SUV that's kicking up the water? If we can drop the banner, team, real quickly. Destructive tornado is tearing through Nebraska. Look at how fast the wind is spitting that off the road. That's speaking of the violent nature this far removed from the tornado. Imagine being in that tornado, though. And what's ahead of this?
Steve, look at that tree ahead of that car and how it's leaning.
It's just snapped, right, to the side. Ken, I don't know even how to talk about this right now. We're looking at this on telly. This right here is showing you how wide. So it goes from here to here. All of this in between is a tornado,
Yeah, he doesn't know how to talk about it because this is unnatural. Unnatural. Southwest Iowa tornado. Look at the size of this. Can you imagine? You are the farmer, this is your property, and this is coming at you? You don't get to see whether or not the tornado takes out this farm, but whoa, you own this property and that's coming at you. North Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area.
It's always spectacular, guys, when we come out and we're chasing weather, right? We don't know where it's going to drop down. And in some cases, and it appears, at least at this point, here in the community of Frost, that a tornado may have actually touched down. We're here along County Road 3091 here in the community of Frost, a very small county road. Actually, one of the neighbors, they're so nice out here. They were talking to us about their 90-year-old neighbor up on the hill, and he came out and he was telling them that he saw the tornado come right through here, and you can see it came this way, he says, And all of this was in its way, including, you see that back there? That is a vacant mobile home. It is now on its side. You can maybe see the tires right up there in the middle, of course. Again, no one was living in there. That is a vacant mobile home on this property just down the road. And you can see all of the signs that we always see, right? The trees, the pieces of metal strewn about, broken off, nice cedar trees right here. It was really crazy to see that there was actually a house there and it is obliterated while her neighbors over here are just fine. We're taking a look at some video, hopefully, of her house and what's really left of it. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house for 6 people, including some of her grandkids who were living there. A super, super nice family. They were home. They knew that there was some bad weather coming through, so they went out to Corsicana. They waited out a little bit, stopped at McDonald's, and then all of the neighbors around these county roads right here, that cluster, just I think it's south of the downtown Frost area. They're on this message thread, right? And she was then told, hey, listen, your house, I think it's gone. So she comes over here and she walks us through what she ended up finding. This is one of the dogs. Oh my gosh. These dogs, they were here, These are the brave buddies that I know. They made it through the storm. Unfortunately, Miss Annette's, one of her dogs is still missing, a cattle dog.
Oh, no.
Hopefully they will find it. But listen to what she was talking to us about, Meredith. Yeah, this is incredible stuff about what they've gone through.
When I drove up, my stomach went down. And now I know how other people feel. And I feel bad for them too. But now I know my son, my husband, my daughter, my grandkids, they're alive.
Amen.
But there's a lot of things that are going.
You're irreplaceable.
Yeah, they're
You are.
irreplaceable.
Yeah. It's the little things, right? You thought about
Yes.
your groceries that
Yep.
you just bought, too.
Yeah. So silly to think about that, but yeah.
Near Abbott, that is just south of Hillsboro. Alan Snyder got home to find his shop ripped apart and damage done to his home that's being built, along with this.
I got some boards, I guess they were flying, and hit the front of my son's truck. And obviously a board hit the grill and then went through the windshield here.
And Snyder says luckily no one was hurt there.
Wow. Well, how about damage in China Spring? This is also Texas.
Chris Lindsay, I'm here at Falcon Point. It's a neighborhood here in China Spring, and the storm damage just speaks for itself. I'm going to go ahead and step out so you guys can see just some of the storm damage that we've been seeing. Fences are blown over, scraps are all over the ground, and this shed at one of the homes behind me here was also blown over. Now, throughout this entire neighborhood, we've seen wooden roofs, a trampoline, and a power line, and so much more.
My sister saw she saw stuff flying around, and then she told us to go to the middle closet because there's no windows there, and we just hide in there. I prayed, and then we looked, and then it became quiet, and then we got out, and then we went outside in our backyard. We saw our whole shed just destroyed, and then we saw whatever this is destroyed.
Okay, how about a fire? Oceanside, the pier that was, I think, 113 years old.
Nearby, Jeremiah Idema sent his drone out the back door immediately after seeing the smoke. The view from the ocean is remarkable. You see the impact of afternoon winds blowing a wall of thick black smoke toward town.
I was able to see flames. I was just able to see this huge cloud of smoke. And as I got closer and closer, I kind of realized how serious this was going to be.
The Oceanside Pier, the shuttered Ruby's Diner, and Brine Box kiosk, where 3 employees were serving food at the time, were now engulfed in flames. Marion Strohmeyer brought her grandson 6 years old today, to the beach for a walk, not this spectacular air show. Courtesy the multiple helicopter air assault.
Just amazing the way they fill up in the ocean, fill up the water and then drop it off.
144 firefighters from Oceanside and several other mutual aid departments, 34 fire engines. The chef at the Brine Box told the Fresh Fish kiosk operator, Jessica Wade, he first saw smoke under the pier and below the old Ruby Diner, closed for renovation.
As you can see behind me, it's still smoking, and they're still throwing as much water as they possibly can on it.
NBC7 was on the pier alongside firefighters. The chief said,
this is a live broadcast that was on the restaurant, everything. It's gone. I mean, this is, they're not going to bring back this, I mean, maybe they'll reconstruct it, but a whole lot of people went to that pier, ate at that restaurant, and you can still see the flames. So what happened, huh? What happened? We sure do have an awful lot of fires, right? Progressive begins dropping thousands of insurance policies in Florida right before hurricane season begins.
Owners are now having to worry about being dropped by their insurance companies.
And for many, those notices are showing up in the mail with no warning. Ezzy Castro is following this story live. And Ezzy, this all has to do with one company that first announced these cuts last year.
Yeah, Progressive made that announcement for homeowners just last year. In fact, some homeowners have already gotten that letter through the mail. And this all comes as we creep into hurricane season, which starts June 1st. Another major insurer, Progressive, is dumping over 100,000 policies across the state. Last year, the company announced it would not renew certain homeowners insurance policies in Florida, saying they are rebalancing their hurricane exposure. Several homeowners already got their letters, like Michelle out of the Jacksonville area, who said, quote, "Yes, our policy just expired on 4/15. No other insurance company will write us a policy except for Citizens. Save about $1,500 though." Citizens was created as an insurer of last resort and has also been trying to cut policies that it had to take on from other insurers that stopped doing business in the state.
We have a lot of good policies. The market is interested in our business, and again, that's a sign that the market's getting healthier.
The company reached as many as 1.41 million policies last year.
We think we're going to have a very successful depopulation in 2024.
We're going to have a successful depopulation in 2024. Really? Okay. Thanks for alerting us. I got this from a subscriber. I'll put the link in if you want to watch the full video. I'm glad that there are people who are posting on what many of us were posting on for years. And yeah.
Able in my garden to restore normal pH, and that's because nanoparticles are now in the circulatory systems of both plants and humans. So welcome, fellow guinea pigs.
All right, guys, we're going to get right into it. In this video, I'm going to establish a timeline. So I want you guys to understand that nothing that you're seeing right now on your TV is actually, by coincidence. It's not organic. Everything is happening by design on a timeline. And what I'm going to do in this video is establish some of this information so you can see that, the people that are saying this are actually speaking the truth. In 1961, Thursday, September 7th, this is the Parliament here over in Queensland, Australia. Dr. Donald Cameron, Oxley, Queensland, wrote, "I think I can best answer the honorable gentleman's question by making a few remarks about the nature of the cloud seeding work that is done by the CSIRO. Now, that stands for Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization. The first thing I should say is that it is a mistake to imagine that we have a drought-breaking weapon. 1961. What we really have is a method of increasing rainfall in areas where otherwise it may be inadequate. I should also add that the project really is still in its experimental stages. One of the great difficulties about using the rain-making apparatus is in dry season that just about the time the conditions are necessary for augmenting rainfall, they're not present. Intermediary.
All right, so he goes through Operation Popeye and also talks about how they have these seeds that will grow in the aluminum, the nanoparticulate aluminum in the soil that you can't grow with ordinary seeds, but those seeds are patented and very expensive, and it's going to get to a point where they're just not going to give the ordinary people those seeds. Chipotle tells workers to preserve chicken supply as demand soars. Stop eating chicken during lunch and dinner meals because soaring demand has collided with dwindling poultry supply, and the need to preserve supply is urgent. That's what they're telling their employees. You can't eat the chicken anymore because we have very, very little chicken. Oh, that bird flu. How many chickens were sent to their death? A whole lot. Also, I will post the link to the Poplar's Reports video. Important information that he is sharing.
2 million pounds of beef may be contaminated with E. coli. This is a nationwide warning that has gone out. There is no recall. The USDA is not ordering a recall, nor the FDA. Why? Because this beef is no longer on the shelves. It is maybe in your freezer, however. So you may need to pay attention to this one to see if your beef is impacted. We'll get you the information you need. An insider in Idaho, truck driver, now being told that farmers may actually let the potatoes rot in the fields because it's going to be too expensive to pull them out of the ground, and farmers are just broke. This is a big update you need here on that one, too. Also, we're hearing that Ireland is rationing bottled water. That's kind of weird because it rains a lot there in Ireland, isn't it? These are your updates, your reports coming in from around the world. Please do keep them coming in. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve.
Click on the link. I just put it in the chat. And Biden administration abandons plan to ban menthol cigarettes to avoid angering black voters. Wow. First of all, there's an awful lot of white Americans who smoke menthol cigarettes. But really? Okay, we'll let you have the menthol. Just please vote for us. Vote for me. What a crazy, warped country we live in. How about a whole lot of these water main breaks just today? Hi, Mama Rages. So, water main breaks. Just today, I'll show you a couple. And I used to post videos on all of the water main breaks. Oh, those tax dollars were supposed to go to, maintain the infrastructure. They didn't. So this is in Pennsylvania. This one is in Missouri.
Hey, Mike, well, that break is a little bit further down. We are trying to be safe, and further back away from the road where that break happened and where they've got crews that are actively working to get that water back on for customers. Actually, where we're standing right now was underwater not that long ago. This is impacting drivers who are using Baumgardner Road, and it's also impacting nearby homes. Cars are moving as fast as fishing boats.
I went this morning and drove around. I noticed that Baumgardner is completely flooded, so they're making traffic go a different direction.
David Murphy lives nearby and says the water pressure is abysmal.
When I got up and attempted to take a shower, and it was just more of a slow drip. I mean, it's not like you can water your grass or do a load of wash or anything like that.
Watering grass? What, are you kidding? Don't you know that there's almost no water left? Well, that's what they want you to believe. Oklahoma.
McIntyre Law, Chopper 4 over what's left of a mess in Edmond. A big water main break there near Danforth and Kelly. Crews forced to close one lane of traffic, and if you drive in Edmond, you know how busy those streets can get. This is what it looked like during the actual break, the water flowing there across the road. The good news, repairs are underway.
My store got hit the hardest because it's the lowest elevation. And from what I understand, when crews got here this morning at 6, it was about a foot of water in our space. All the furniture's a loss, though. I'll just either throw it in the dump, or if there's anything that can be donated, we'll donate it. But it's a total loss. But
Several businesses got flooded out from that water main break. So, I'm going to play just a few minutes of, and we all know him, Oscar Blue, who is talking about another caravan coming up to cross the U.S.-Mexico border.
First of all, I want you to back up and tell me what you have seen over the last couple of months regarding specifically illegal migrants coming up through Mexico. How is it affecting the Mexicans, the cartels? You know, basically what you were already talking about, but we weren't actually live yet.
Yes, Chuck, the Biden administration, the collateral damage that they have done is they have grown the cartel 3 times bigger and 3 times stronger in terms to trafficking. They're making huge amounts of money. And the cartel of Mexico has already expanded, and they're already going into South America in cahoots and in connection with the Clan del Golfo, that this cartel from Colombia has already expanded to Turkey, smuggling a lot of Chinese in through the territory of the continent of America. In Mexico, you have a lot of, decreased migration, and it is not as visible as it was before. The reason why is the cartel has completely taken over the parts of the south of the border, Tapachula, Cancun, the parts that they're landing. And ultimately from there, they're decreasing them by taking them on private vans, also on special, plane tickets to go to City of Mexico. From there, moving them on private vehicles all the way to the northern borders, and specifically to the borders that these cartel operates. Cartel Sinaloa operates more on the Baja territory, Sonora territory. Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación operates more on the Texas territory, New Mexico, and all the way to the end. So this has increased a lot. What it has caused, Chuck, it has caused the collateral damage of wars. The cartel are fighting, and specifically Arizona, on the part of Sonora. This border with Arizona and Sonora is going through a cartel war right now. The cartel that is fighting between these two cartels that I just mentioned, they're fighting for open border gaps. They're fighting for places where there's no border, where the migrants are jumping and through ladders, where the migrants are crossing, where there's an open border gap. They are fighting, and the collateral damage that it's causing is multiple deaths, multiple people are dying, and ultimately, not only that specifically the Mexican people are threatening, Chuck. So that's one of the things that is extremely critical.
Now, when you're
All right, so you might want to listen to this interview. Arizona is getting a whole lot of cartel business. No repercussions for illegal border crossings. Yeah.
Me now is Kate Monroe. She's a Marine Corps veteran, CEO of VETCOM, and an author of the Race to Save America. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. As I understand it, you live near a beach and you have witnessed some of these illegal migrant crossings. Tell me what you've seen, Kate.
Yeah, here in San Diego, from Carlsbad all the way down to Mission Bay, you'll just see a boat pull up. 15 to 20 migrants will hop out, all different flavors from around the world. And this will be a beach where beachgoers are, where families are. I have a 7-year-old, and it's very scary. The citizens of San Diego can't believe that there's no repercussion for this. They hop out of the boats, they run and jump into SUVs in coordinated efforts. And it's, quite frankly, it's embarrassing for our country. It's embarrassing for our city that we do little or nothing about it.
And what have you seen on the streets of your community? Are you seeing an increase in people on the streets? Where do they go once they get off that beach and head into town?
They get into those SUVs and they are absolutely gone. I don't know where they go. They likely fly somewhere else in the country. A lot of them are not staying here. Now, I will say in North County, San Diego, there's been lots of reports of migrants camping out in people's backyards and breaking into their homes during the day. I took my body man out with me to go and check this out. And sure enough, there's migrants sleeping on people's properties. But I would say in San Diego, the biggest threat is not necessarily from the boats, while it is a threat. The biggest threat to us is all the thousands of people coming across our southern border. It's a threat to our nation. It's a threat to us locally here in San Diego as well.
And don't we know it? Of course we know it. Here is the boats coming onto the beaches in California. And here's Anthony Aguero. They're still coming in. They are still coming in. And, oh, if you haven't experienced, any of the consequences of this, you will very shortly.
Border Wars on Rumble or on YouTube, Anthony Aguero Live. Yes. Yeah, you'll see you there.
They seem to be marching in formation. These states are making it illegal for illegal immigrants to enter. Good luck. Good luck. Florida, Iowa, Louisiana, Tennessee, Georgia, and Oklahoma. Taking border security matters into their own hands, proposing or passing legislation targeting illegal immigration. And this has been, oh my God. Yeah, Texas tried to do this, talking about arresting illegal migrants, and then the courts get involved, and this is just an abject mess. Are they going to be getting rid of all of the illegal immigrants in those states? No, they won't. Border Patrol prepares for another migrant surge.
Are in Juarez. Many are saying they intend on crossing the border. KTSM first showed you footage of them arriving on a train yesterday. There they are. Our correspondents in Juarez say migrants have been telling them they plan on surrendering to Border Patrol and seek asylum. KTSM 9 News reporter Jesus Baltazar is live from the border where groups of migrants have been taken into custody. Jesus, what is the Border Patrol saying to you?
Stella Border Patrol has been saying that they've seen small groups of migrants turning themselves in here at Gate 40, which is located right off of the Yarborough exit, over the past hours and days, but they haven't necessarily amassed in large waves. This video from earlier today shows another group of migrants walking from a rail yard in Juarez, heading towards downtown. As we reported, hundreds of migrants arrived on Wednesday atop cargo trains after they were disbanded by Mexican authorities from the camps they had set up in Chihuahua City. While U.S. Border Patrol has not seen migrants amassed at the border, they say they are prepared if that were to happen.
Our infrastructure have dramatically changed since 2019. You know, United States Border Patrol has learned a lot from previous migrant influxes in the community, and we have seen the benefit of having the capacity to process these migrants in a fast and humane possible way.
It's a benefit. Oh, okay. Look at all of these migrants. It's a benefit. Surge in migrants compounding California's homelessness problem. Of course it is.
The situation, particularly in California, is the mayor of El Cajon, California, Mayor Bill Wells. Thank you so much for your time. We saw that video of all of those people standing along the border wall. Your city is only about a 20-minute drive from San Diego. What are you seeing there in your city of El Cajon, and has there been a migrant surge?
Well, in San Diego County, we've seen 130,000 people dropped off since September, 30 in the last 2 months, and we're seeing about 1,000 a day. My city is one of the 3 drop-off spots for migrants, so we're seeing them in El Cajon as well. But I'm really concerned about the video you just showed, because they play a cat and mouse game all the time, and right now they're being pushed out to the east. Well, the east, as a lot of people know, California is prone to fires, and the east is where most of the fires come from. And I'm being told that they're lighting huge bonfires at night. Californians can't even get fire coverage because it's so dangerous out here. So this is a big deal.
It really is. And I wanted to ask you, what was your initial reaction to this video as we take a look at it, again, with reports that a hole was cut in the metal, allowing all of those people to come through?
Well, I'd like to say I was shocked, but this is a regular occurrence for people living in California. We've had the same kind of problems they've had in Texas, and actually we're getting the brunt of it now. But I want to let people know that California also has most of the homeless people in the nation are living in California right now. So we've got a double problem. We've got all of the new migrants that are coming, let's call it what it is, illegal aliens. And then we've also got people camping on the streets and clogging up the social services and the emergency rooms. And so we're really at the brink of complete disaster in California.
And so, Mayor, how is...
Oh, yes. And here, an asylum seeker who landed in Europe. All right, well, Oh, what is that hand signal? Is that the sign of the devil? God, I'll wait to hear from any of you who knows. Man dies after being shot while leaving basketball court. Woman shot in the back after checking on the what? This is mainstream media? Are you kidding me? Look, and people criticize me? Shit.
News now, 3 shootings in the span of just hours leave a man dead and 2 women injured in San Antonio. A young man was shot to death at a basketball court around midnight. Police say he was leaving Brooks InterCity Sports on Topeka Boulevard south of downtown when someone shot him several times in the court's parking lot. The victim in his 20s died on scene while the shooter drove off. Just a few hours before that, a San Antonio woman was shot in the back. Scene video shows at least 18 shot markers outside the apartment complex on Gus Eckert on the northwest side. Police say around 9:30 Thursday night, a man and a woman heard someone messing with their cars in the parking lot and walked outside to check it out. Police say 4 juveniles got out of a car and started shooting at them. The woman was hit but is expected to be okay. And in a third shooting, an invitation to a family's home turned into a bloody night at another apartment complex. Police say a woman living with her sister's family invited the suspect over, and when they opened the door, the man allegedly fired several shots, hitting the woman. All this happening at the apartments on Northeast Loop 410 late Thursday night. The woman was taken to the hospital and the shooter took off. Tara.
Oh, isn't it fabulous? Our cities that used to be fabulous are no longer. Property owners shocked by recent appraisals.
We're going down this year after voters approved an $18 billion property tax cut package last November. You may be in for a rude awakening. Thank you for choosing KTSM 9 News at 6. I'm Andy Morgan. Monica is off. Now, property valuation notices have been sent out, and homeowners tell KTSM they've noticed a spike in their values again this year. KTSM 9 News reporter Tirza Ortiz is live in West El Paso with the reason for the jump. Tirza.
Well, that's right, Andy. According to the chief appraiser for El Paso County, while the market is healthy, it could mean more for taxpayers, as it shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon.
It's ludicrous. Yes, market values fluctuate. This is way out of hand.
El Paso homeowners stunned this tax season after seeing their property's appraisal value spike once again.
There is no precedent, in my mind, for raising a residential lot, an unimproved lot, 50% in 1 year.
Chief appraiser with El Paso Central Appraisal District says the hot market is to blame, with homes and properties still in high demand.
If the area is showing an increase in the market, we have those sales, and we've done that research, then we have to, by law, increase those. A lot of people say, well, but I haven't done anything to it. And I understand that, but it's the market. Homes are selling, and we have to look at that.
Dawson said,
are they really selling? And the market, well, was it last night or 2 nights ago? I included in the live an article about how property taxes are just going to skyrocket all over the country, and people are going to lose their homes. I have bills. I have a life. Tesla just laid off thousands.
This employee, them, and their co-workers assumed they were being transferred to a different department, not knowing they would be losing their jobs and never returning.
We thought we were going to Cybertruck. That's the new department that the new vehicle we're building. They've been rounding people up to go up there because they just opened night shift. I got my first apartment working at Tesla. I just got my first car. Like, you know, I have bills. I have a life, actually, outside of work. And that's what they never understood.
Now, we don't know exactly the number of layoffs that occurred at the Gigafactory. That former employee, as well as dozens of others on social media, just wished for a heads up so they could have prepared to find another job sooner. Chris?
Yeah, you feel so bad.
Good luck finding another job. Why are there so many Americans that can't find a job even though they are desperate to be hired? I will put Michael Schneider's article link in the chat. I never even got a chance to read that article, but we know why. According to the absurd numbers that the government feeds us, the unemployment rate is very low, and there are lots of jobs available. But if what they're telling us is true, why are so many Americans not able to find work? As you will see below, some people haven't been hired even though they have literally applied for hundreds of jobs. There seems to be an enormous disconnect between what is actually happening in the real economy and the economic narrative that they are constantly pushing. By the time you are done reading this article, I think you will agree. It is so sad how many people want to believe lies, how many liars we have. It's easy for people, you know, who have not suffered any consequences. You believe the liars about the economy, and then you don't have to help anybody. You don't even have to help your children, your adult children. There are jobs out there. No, there aren't. All right. You know, I posted this. My heart broke for this senior at USC who won't be able to graduate because they've canceled graduations because of the protests. And I'll play it. We all understand what college is now. We all understand what universities are. We all understand what the education system is. Does everybody? No. Do these young students, you know, did they grow up with parents that actually told them what was happening? No. They think they're doing the right thing. Okay. We know that it's not. We know that a whole lot of students are getting themselves in debt needlessly because there are no jobs, right? We know that. We know it's an indoctrination system. Okay. Do all of these students know it? No, a whole lot don't. A whole lot don't. Graduations are like milestones. They're stepping stones, you know, to they're markers of adulthood, you know. But they're social events. So the graduation is they've accomplished something, and we can claim that, okay, unfortunately, that accomplishment is not going to bring you to the place that you want to be. All right. But nonetheless, it's still an accomplishment. And the graduation marks that accomplishment. But the social event, graduation, friends, it's a big deal. And I was blown away with the comments. I mean, there's almost no empathy, no You know, I spoke to a subscriber whose daughter, this was in Arizona, and the daughter was not permitted to join the graduation with all of her friends. I think she was a cheerleader. She had, you know, fine marks, but I can't remember, but it was such a, oh, you missed a quarter credit of gym, and they wouldn't let her graduate with her friends. And I felt heartbroken for her daughter. And I had the same feeling for this senior who, well, she'll speak it.
So USC just canceled our graduation.
And there's obviously noise in the background. I'm not sure what it is. It might be like an air filter or something.
I have no words. Like, this is so, like, it's actually comical at this point. If you don't know, the seniors that are graduating college right now are the seniors that graduated in 2020, where we didn't have a high school graduation, and a lot of us had, like, drive-through fake graduations or no graduation at all. And now we are seniors about to graduate, getting ready for our first real graduation, and it just got canceled. I literally just, like, I just can't even, I'm in shock right now. We as a whole senior class have never had a real graduation because of COVID first, which we thought was like a one-time thing, like we're the class that got screwed over. It is what it is, unlucky. Now, USC just canceled it. And of course USC, we've all worked so hard to get here. USC, I'm sure you know, is not an easy school to get into. And so everyone that goes here is very accomplished, like had worked really hard to get in, and now they just canceled our freaking graduation. Like what now? What now? They sent out an email 10 minutes ago about how they know it's disappointing, but they're canceling it and they're going to have other fun events, which I don't even know what that means. Like, I understand that like a lot has been going on at USC right now with like protests and everything. I just feel like there could have been a different way to go about this than to cancel the entire graduation for a class that never even got a high school graduation either. Here's the part of the email right there that says, as a result, we will not be able to host the main stage ceremony that traditionally brings 65,000 students, families, and friends to our campus at the same time and during a short window from 8:30 to 10 a.m. We understand this is disappointing bullshit. Like, come on. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would graduate high school and not have a graduation, get into USC, go all 4 years at USC and not have a graduation, I would have been like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. But it happened, and now this is all of our seniors' lives. So, this sucks. I mean, this sucks. I just had my last class ever, and right after I should be celebrating, just got the news that we have no graduation. So, now all my roommates are depressed, and we all literally were just sitting in the living room, like, in tears. But not much we can do about it, so we're gonna make the most of it, but ridiculous. Sucks.
It's the taking away of a good time with your friends. It's the taking away of a marking of the accomplishments. It's the taking away of joy. I don't know what you're talking about cubed, but I too, Loretta, feel very bad for her. And yeah, the comments, life is full of disappointments, such as people unable to afford to eat, war with mounting deaths. Now that's depressing. See, people, you know, their responses are cold. At least college is free now. I don't even know what that means. Graduation is bittersweet event anyway. Pray for wisdom. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, maybe it was bittersweet for you. So she got a useless diploma with no ceremony. Nobody is attending or you know, got the message that she's upset. She's upset. She wanted to go to graduation. She wanted to walk the walk on the stage and do, you know, and a whole lot of these people, I bet, are actually people who've gone to college, had that experience, and they're basically just saying, well, too fucking bad for you, get over it. You know, what we've done to the young is just reprehensible. But to have no compassion or care that someone is missing out on an experience that they should be having. Goes to show the true value of an education of indoctrination. Here's one person. That happened to my youngest son also. He was supposed to graduate when they started closing everything down and he couldn't. Oh, so they will go and vote Democrat again. How the hell do you know if she's voting Democrat? Just because she posted this video and is in California? Do we know if she's a Californian? No. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. Well, guess what? We live on earth, and we don't need to have our joy, our moments of, you know, happiness and sharing things with your family and your friends ripped away from you. But almost every comment sucks.
So USC just canceled our graduation.
So they will go vote Democrat again. What a presumptuous asshole. I'm sorry. I'm so tired of this. Oh, right. This person's in the Matrix. You gotta vote Republican. Half of Americans struggling with housing payments.
Money this morning. We all know money is tight these days, and a new housing study shows how tight. Half of Americans are struggling to make their housing payments right now. And CBS 4's Zach Myers is back with a closer look at what this survey shows. Zach?
That's right. At least you can know that if you're feeling stressed about money right now, you're not alone. According to this study by real estate brokerage firm Redfin, 49% of Americans are struggling and making sacrifices to make their monthly housing payments. Some of those sacrifices include skipping vacations and working extra hours. Others are more serious, like skipping meals and medical treatments, selling belongings, and dipping into retirement savings. The study actually found a surprising number of millennials who are already dipping into their retirement savings accounts. Of those who are struggling, 20% say they've borrowed money from family or friends to help them get by. Someone who bought their home a few years ago may not be struggling as much because mortgage rates were more like 3% back then, but more recent home buyers are dealing with mortgage rates around 7%. Still, renters may be struggling the most. People dealing with increasing rent prices are still watching their payments go up. According to the Consumer Price Index, rent prices started this year nearly 6% higher than 1 year before. And most of us didn't see a 6% raise in the last year. There is some hope among economists, though, that the federal...
No, there is no hope. And yeah, people can suck the joy out of most everything. And we've become, this bullshit about Americans being caring and compassionate and generous. We've just become a people that, hey, just kick them when they're down. There is, I noticed somebody say that there's almost no empathy anymore. None. That's really scary. That's really sad. Torrance renters want to know their rights as they face rushed eviction.
On your sites, Christine Lazar joins us now with what rights they have and how local leaders are responding. Christine, this is really unfortunate.
Yeah, well, a lot of tenants or renters or, visitors, as they want to call them, they don't want to call them tenants because it is a kind of converted hotel. They don't know their rights. And already, I found this, one tenant has sued. This tenant claiming in this lawsuit that he had been there just 1 month before he says they actually locked him out of the building, changing the locks. So a lot going on there. Now, activists say this is likely an illegal eviction, but the owners of Vivo Flex Living say this was never meant to be a permanent housing solution.
I was shocked, devastated, confused.
Candace Arterberry and her husband have 2 teenage children. They received this notice on their door at Vivo Flex Living Torrance last month, telling them they have 6 weeks to vacate the room they've been staying in for more than a year.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
Arterberry receives disability benefits, and her husband just recently found a job after months of unemployment. Right now, they pay $13.95 a month, well under the average rent for the area.
Well under the average rent, 13 plus for a room. For a room. And they're getting evicted and they don't know where to go. This is a crisis. New rent relief program hopes to prevent evictions.
Relief for renters. State lawmakers have now pledged $18 million for a new housing program to help prevent evictions, part of the newly passed supplemental state budget.
CBS 13's Owen Kingsley is speaking with one South Portland woman who says this program could be a lifeline.
We've seen how the state's housing crisis has affected Maine people. For some, they can't find housing that they can afford or any available housing at all. This program aims to help people who have housing but are at risk of losing it.
This pilot program for rent relief is really designed to make sure that people who are in situations that could possibly make them face eviction, that their needs are addressed.
Maine's new eviction prevention program sets aside $18 million for individuals making less than $53,000 or a family of four making less than $76,000 a year, according to data from Maine Housing. Representative Drew Gatine says about 2,400 people could qualify and receive hundreds of dollars a month.
Something in the range of $300, $800 per month is going to make a huge difference.
It would definitely help us out.
Katarina Zimina and her 7-year-old son Yvonne live in South Portland. Yvonne has a rare brain condition and requires frequent doctor visits.
You gotta get closer.
Zimina had to cut back on hours at work to care for him and has struggled some months to pay her rent on time. She says her landlord is not renewing her lease at the end of the month.
No matter how much I cried, what I was told, it's a business decision.
Zimina has found a new apartment and hopes to apply for this rent relief program to help. Maine Housing hopes to have the funds ready by this summer. About 20% of the state's $430 million supplemental budget has gone towards housing programs.
This is a
And just think, how much have we given Ukraine? Well, with the $61 billion that we're now giving, so over $170 billion. And we know it's a proxy war, but what if we kept that money and helped people? We had more states putting together these rent relief programs. Or how about doing rent caps? Or how about not allowing these investment firms to buy up all of these single homes and buy up all of these apartment complexes, and then the rents skyrocket and they evict people left and right? How about even just a relief program for the seniors who are getting put on the street? No, we're not going to do that. Junk fees growing in Texas apartments.
Joining us, here's something that a lot of us can relate to: hidden fees. But how about hidden fees when it comes to renting? Morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sally Hernandez.
And I'm Tom Miller. These can really start to add up. These are also known as junk fees, typically not advertised when you get a quote for an apartment, and they can surprise renters after you sign a lease. The Federal Trade Commission describes junk fees as hidden and unexpected fees that can harm consumers. The Housing Policy Clinic at the University of Texas released a new study looking at the issue of junk fees and how to rein in the issue.
And KXAN's Dylan McKim introduces us to an Austinite who believes he is paying way too much in fees.
Dallas Cowboy fan.
Take a look around Sanford Garrett's home. You'll see his healthy collection of Dallas Cowboys gear.
Them boys are my heart.
Along with a variety of decorations he's collected in the 13 years he's called this apartment home.
I just try to enjoy life as best as possible.
Including an empty fish tank because of a pricey pet deposit.
They charge $300 for a fish.
He's 59, a visually impaired veteran, and doesn't work. He describes his monthly income as...
I'd like to call it a broke income. I'm sorry. It's not controlled, it's not fixed, it's broke.
So for Garrett...
every dollar and cent counts.
But after COVID, he started noticing surprising mandatory fees on top of his rent, including $25 a month for valet trash, even though he lives right next to the dumpsters.
When I can walk down them stairs and drop that off to myself.
He pays a mandatory $90 a month for cable directly to his apartment. He used to be able to pay the cable company directly with the ability to cancel that service, but now he has no control over that fee. And an extra $5 a month for pest control, but he wants to only pay that when he uses that service.
Don't be charging people for that service when they're not using it.
A recent study from the University of Texas found Altura Apartments does not advertise these mandatory junk fees when they provide a lease quote to prospective tenants, and they're not the only ones.
They're becoming much more widespread, and the level of junk fees is becoming quite alarming.
Heather Way, one of the authors of the report, said she and her team found very odd fees.
We came across things like boilerplate management fees, a fire hydrant fee, administrative fees, these kinds of fees that really leave you scratching your head and wondering really what's going on here.
More alarming is properties that are given public subsidies from the city in return for affordable housing are actually seen using junk fees as well.
Despite those rent restrictions, are then tacking on these additional fees as a workaround.
Way and her team call for more transparency from apartments, being upfront about all the costs associated with monthly rent. They also say the City of Austin's housing department should close some of the loopholes in its affordable housing program so developers cannot work around rent restrictions.
Give or take steps to the dumpsters.
For Garrett, he's still taking his trash out, but is hoping he can see some relief.
I don't want to pay for it, but I do.
A fire hydrant fee?
Yeah, what is that?
What is that? Yes, just rip off. Americans ripping off Americans. It's so sickening. Homeless in Montana.
In some cities with growing numbers of homeless people, the issue goes beyond encampments in public places. They're also coping with more people living in cars and RVs parked on city streets. Montana PBS's Joe Lassar reports on how city leaders in Bozeman, Montana, are dealing with the tensions arising from this more visible display of homelessness.
And guess what? If you listen to this broadcast, you will hear someone say that people don't care anymore. Really? I thought they did. It was somebody not homeless, but she was talking about how they just don't want to see it and they just don't care anymore. I think it was this woman.
As a result of COVID, there was this big uptick in demand, and there was this outpouring of support, and now the outpouring of support has dropped off, but the demand has stayed up at this level, and the resources are very insufficient to meet the need.
Heather Grenier, who runs the nonprofit Human Resource Development Council, says her organization's caseload is at capacity, and there are not many alternatives available.
It's remarkably difficult because there's no pathway for us to help them. There's no housing. There's no rental assistance to help them get into a housing unit, even if there were a housing unit. There's no transitional housing.
Usage of HRDC's overnight shelter has nearly doubled since 2019. Some of that need should be eased when their new 24/7 shelter opens, but that's not expected until next year.
Not until next year. I put the link in, you can watch it, but homelessness is increasing everywhere. Residents upset after late neighbors' belongings discarded at senior apartment complex. They're just throwing things out. Oh, wow.
She tells me when residents pass or go into a rest home permanently until now, everyone at the site has been involved in removing things from the apartment and either sharing items among residents or donating what they can to places like Goodwill.
It's a common courtesy for us to help one another to dissolve and dissipate personal belongings.
McCloskey tells me this is the first time she's seen belongings being thrown out.
And all of a sudden, it's gone, and we have lost our voice.
I reached out to People's Self-Help Housing to ask about the cleanout and decision to throw away things and was told, quote, recent events at Ocean View Gardens prompted the disposal of the property of 2 individuals. Both actions were completed in compassionate consultation with those most closely connected to residents. The organization's spokesperson refused to elaborate on those recent events, provide me with their policy regarding cleanouts at any of their sites, or say whether any family members or next of kin were notified of the cleanout. I looked into what state laws places like People's Self-Help Housing may have to follow in situations like this and found out if there is no known executor of next of kin, the landlord treats the unit as abandoned property. Linda Winters helps organize donations at the donation station in Morro Bay and came by to grab clothing last week after hearing items were being tossed.
Yeah, as quickly as possible. And now the back of my car is full of them.
As for McCloskey, she says everyone living at Oceanside Gardens is close.
We really love living here because we help one another. We're highly organized and help one another with different protocols and systems that we've put into effect in our little community for a long time now.
In Morro Bay, Sofia Villalba, KSBY News.
Break up the community. Triumphant Homeowners who spent millions on houses reveal how they took on squatters and won.
Owner knows that, like, the thing they're most scared of, okay, you might be scared of fire, you might be scared of flood, you might be scared of earthquake, but the thing you got to really fear these days are squatters. Like, they're almost as scary as a fire, because they'll take over your home and they won't leave, and that's like a major problem. But as I discovered in the story I did for the Post, there are some people who figured out how to get rid of squatters, and they've done it. They've gotten these guys out of their homes. Like, there's a guy named Mohammed Choudhary, who he and his partner, they bought 3 houses out in the Coney Island area, and they both went away, and they come back, and there's a guy who's a convicted sex offender living there. He's taken the place over. He's brought in a bunch of his buddies that he's rented places out to. The police won't do anything. Then Muhammad got smart. He starts snooping around his own homes, and he realizes these guys are doing all kinds of illegal construction in there. He calls the Department of Buildings, and he's like, look, you guys have a problem with me. You've given me fines, which they got because they couldn't go in and do work on the places because the squatters wouldn't let them in. These squatters are doing work on our place illegally. The DOB reacted to that. They sent people there, rousted the squatters out. Now Muhammad and his partner, they have the units back again. Then we have a woman named Lika Devatha. She owns a building in Seattle, and she had a unit she was planning to rent out for $4,000. A couple of squatters go in there, and again, she tells them to leave. They won't leave. She calls the police. They go, yeah, that's a court matter. We don't get involved with that. And of course, the court won't do anything. Her lawyer says it's going to take you about 12 months to get them out. She can't afford to wait 12 months because she needs the rent on the unit, or the place might get foreclosed on. She's not going to be able to pay her mortgage. So she did something really smart. She hangs out in front of the house. She waits for the postman to come. She says, I own this building. I want to see the mail that's coming in here. She gets the names of the people. She finds out that one of them was arrested for indecent exposure in downtown Seattle. Calls the police with that information. That somehow stimulated them to want to do something about it. And they came over and they got these people out. In Central Washington, there's a guy named Christian Osgood. He is into buying dilapidated properties, fixing them up, and making them into affordable housing. So he bought a hotel for over $1 million, planning to turn it into, a little housing area. And of course, the squatters move in on them. Like, they've got air conditioners, close to the ground. Squatters kick those out, move in, bring in their own furniture, break all the locks. Like, Christian Osgood is not going to put up with that. So he waits for them to leave, and he changes the locks on them. He did something really smart that if you find yourself in this spot, you should know about. He got friends of his to sign leases for the units that were busted into. As he put it to me, leasers' rights oversee squatters' rights. Bye, squatters.
Oh, bye, squatters. How about this? This Florida Palm Beach accused squatter, deceased homeowner, told me to state that this is a very real thing. People who are just taking over people's homes. And yeah, you want to definitely get your state legislators to write the legislation to ban this and make it a criminal offense for people to just go into somebody's home and take it over. It's called breaking an entry. It's a crime.
Fire on the property, people are asking officials for help with what they say is a woman who is wrongly living in the house. This fire from earlier this year was the final straw, turning neighbors against people living at 112 Duncan Street.
We're concerned because of numerous fires that have been set.
Tonight, they asked Sebastian City Council members to kick out the people they believe are squatting in the house.
It's created total chaos in our neighborhood.
The city says it's waiting for the property owner to call. That's unlikely to happen because property records show Gail Allen owns the house, and here's her obituary from March of last year.
The owner still shows as Gail on the left.
I know.
So why are you living here?
Because she told me to stay here until the bank came.
That's Carmela Dragan. She says Gail gave her the property. We found records showing Gail had a reverse mortgage on the house through James B. Nutter and Company. It's not kicking her out of the property because
James B. Nutter and Company / Nutter Home Loans is closing permanently.
So who should own the property? Gail's son, who's receiving mail for Gail's estate, believes it's HUD. He got this letter from a company identifying itself as a subcontractor for HUD, asking for paperwork to turn the home over to the lender. But he says he didn't have all the paperwork to send to that subcontractor. We've reached out to HUD. We're still awaiting a statement as Carmela lives in the house.
I'm waiting to find a place to go to live. I'm going to California next month.
If Gail left you the house, then why are you trying to move to California? Why not just stay here?
Because I can't find the paperwork. They shredded papers. They took stuff. They ripped stuff off the walls and they left.
So are you saying that you don't have the right to live here?
I don't know. I'm going to leave.
Sebastian police say they did.
I actually feel bad for her. Family upset after squatter living inside home of relative who died in Cobb County. Okay, so if you have any relatives and they die, squatters come in. Squatters come in. And so if you have relatives who they own their home and they die, don't think that people aren't going to be coming in, because they find out where people have died and then they move right on in. This is unbelievable. This is in Georgia.
Families fight to remove a squatter from their loved one's home in Powder Springs. Tonight, while the family waits for police to investigate, neighbors are now banding together to figure out how to get him out of there. 11 Alive's Teresa Bowles has the story tonight.
It can be hard to let go when losing a loved one, especially the place that holds so many memories.
He built this house from the ground up back in 1997, so he lived here and raised 5 children here over the course of almost 30 years.
Michael Peterson passed away in June. His family made the tough decision to allow his house on Goldenwood Court in Powder Springs to foreclose. It's now posted on Zillow. As the family worked to move on, his daughter-in-law, Brittany Peterson, says someone else moved in.
About a week ago, a man showed up at the home with a U-Haul, and he broke into the back door and changed the lock. It's just disgusting.
Disgusted and violated, the family called the police. A spokesperson for Cobb County Police says officers met with the man inside the home, and their criminal investigative unit is looking into it, but no charges have been filed. That's why we've chosen to not reveal his identity. So he remains at this $600,000 house. The neighbors, however, aren't giving up easily.
This gentleman is brazenly and illegally taking advantage of an unfortunate situation.
What was the Peterson family's problem is now the problem of an entire street. The neighborhood standing behind them, watching the alleged squatters' every move for any slip-up.
The concern is for the potential for more illegal activity. We know the man has a record.
There's not much Brittany can do right now, but she's hoping Governor Brian Kemp won't forget about the Georgia Squatter Reform Act on his desk so the next grieving family can take their next steps in peace.
Well, he did sign a new squatting law following series of Channel 2 investigations.
Signed a law designed to stop squatters. Channel 2 Action News led the way investigating problems with squatters across Metro Atlanta, ultimately spurring lawmakers to act. And Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray is live at the state capitol. Justin, the new law closes the very loophole that you exposed.
Yeah, we've shown you how squatters counted on the fact that they could stay in a home for months and months without any consequences. That changed here today.
Problem is, the squatters have figured out ways to circumvent the law.
But with the stroke of a pen in a closed-door ceremony, Governor Brian Kemp changed that law to try to put a stop to Georgia's squatters.
We're addressing that by increasing the penalties, also speeding up the time frame to get these individuals out of the houses.
Hey, sir, it's Justin Gray with Channel 2. Are you selling a squatter home right here? You got the keys? It was our exclusive Channel 2 Action News undercover investigation in February that clearly exposed how the squatters are taking advantage of laws designed to protect tenants, even bragging on Instagram how police can't do anything to get you out. Instead, it goes to a months-long civil court eviction process.
The company owners will come out, so will the police. The police will tell you it's a civil matter. It's nothing they can do about it. Squatters' right.
The Georgia Squatter Reform Act changes that. Now law enforcement must cite squatters criminally for trespassing, and that starts a clock ticking.
So they have no documentation. They'll be out in 3 days.
State Representative Devin Seabaugh sponsored the bill. Under the new law, if the suspected squatter presents a lease, the case goes before a magistrate judge within 7 days. A fake lease adds an extra felony charge.
These are criminals that know exactly what they're doing, and they're taking advantage of the loophole that we had in our law, and we've corrected that.
For more than a year, Channel 2 Action News reported a series of squatter investigations that lawmakers and policymakers cited as they drafted this legislation.
There is a problem. It's the WSB investigation.
Often when they go there, they're facing a gun. And that's been covered in several Channel 2 stories.
Yeah, there was actually a website. I don't know if you saw the Channel 2 story.
So the days of sitting in that home for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, you believe are over?
I believe it's over, yeah.
All right, every state should be passing this kind of law. Every state should be passing this kind of law. And it's not just to evict them. They should be prosecuted. They should be prosecuted. Oh, man. We're so far gone. We don't even know what's right and what's wrong. Family says they're out thousands of dollars and a home after rental scam.
A family reached out to Action 9 saying they're out thousands of dollars and a home.
My kids came in the house and they was hysterical, and all of them was like, somebody out here saying, what we doing here?
Action 9 investigator Jason Stujanki has seen this and warned you about it before. Scammers renting out homes they don't own behind the real owner's back.
He's live tonight in Northeast Charlotte. Jason, this keeps on happening, and of course you can hear there, it's devastating to these people.
Absolutely, Scott. I'll tell you, you can take the Lee family as an example, but it happens often. The Lees told me they signed this so-called lease, put down thousands of dollars on this house here behind me, and even moved in before finding out the truth. The Lees hold on to each other, wondering what to do next.
It's just a whirlwind. I can't wrap my head around none of it.
They say they moved to Charlotte looking for a better life.
I'm a chef, so I want to cook. And I got a job up here, and my wife got a job up here, so we just moved.
They told me they drove by this house and saw a sign in the yard for rent, the company Sparrow, so they called the number.
Took us through the process of application and lease and all the rest of the stuff we were supposed to do.
The Lees now believe a scammer changed the phone number on Sparrow's sign and somehow got access to the lockbox, so they were able to get the key to move in. Then a week or so later, that fateful knock at the door.
My kids came in the house and they was hysterical, and all of them was like, somebody out here saying, what we doing here?
They say it was a Sparrow rep, a real one this time, who told them the bad news. The person who rented the house to them wasn't the rightful owner.
And they told us we had to leave right immediately.
Sparrow confirmed for me this was indeed a scam, and that the Lees could still apply for the house if they wanted, but the Lees say they can't afford the application fee, especially after losing all that money and with no guarantee they'd even qualify for the house.
It's like we went straight down in a hole, and we try and dig ourselves out, and it get deeper and deeper.
They've now moved to Shelby to stay with family, but they tell me it isn't practical long term, and that it meant switching their children's schools so late in the year.
And I would wonder why somebody would be so cold as to put a family in that position where they take their money and tell them that, con them out of a place to live.
Can't understand people destroying other people's lives. It happens so often. Los Angeles Metro official says she's afraid and will not ride public transportation.
Metro leaders have declared an emergency over safety concerns. On Monday, a passenger was stabbed to death on a Metro train in Universal City. And Wednesday, there was another stabbing on the Blue Line at Washington Boulevard and Central Avenue. Earlier this month, a bus driver was stabbed by a passenger in Willowbrook. At a hearing yesterday, Metro authorized emergency approval to retrofit its 2,000 buses with shatterproof glass barriers around the transit drivers.
I will not ride our transit system by myself. I am afraid, and I've sit on Metro, but I will not ride it.
Among other measures, Metro leaders called for work quickly increasing security cameras, implementing facial recognition technology, and using...
Oh, really? Facial technology, facial recognition technology, crime used to control
other technology. The agency may also look into ways of banning problematic individuals from Metro altogether.
We'll give you the solution. More surveillance. Caught on camera, man accused of abusing and killing families' animals in East Harris County, Texas.
Tells us she's heartbroken after she says a stranger came onto her property and attacked several of her animals. Animals she says she considers family. Some of them did not survive the attack. Anieli Ruiz live outside the Harris County Jail tonight with the latest on this case. Anieli?
Well, that's right. This woman speaking with us tonight, she says she's heartbroken after this entire ordeal. She's asked us to not show her face, but says she's still traumatized by all of this.
I already called the cops. La policía.
It's this horrible day that keeps replaying in the mind of Sara Martinez. She tells me she rushed back to her house on February 19th after her camera caught a man trying to open her door. Houston police later identified him as 19-year-old Carlos Antonio Cerros Aleman.
Rushed home thinking that it was maybe he was trying to get in, he wanted to steal something.
When Martinez got home, she was horrified by what she saw and called 911.
I found this man running in the backyard chasing the animals.
Her home surveillance cameras captured the man chasing her pet pig, Bacon.
I started freaking out. I didn't get off my truck because I pulled in, and that's when I saw him running with something in his hand, which was a crowbar.
Sara said she and another family member stayed in the truck and kept honking, screaming at the man to stop.
No, look, he's throwing. Look,
Oh my God.
Look, he's hurting the animals, man.
But Sara says he didn't even acknowledge her screams and kept going.
He also picked up one of the roosters that was still alive, and he literally just strangled him and threw him on the floor and beat him till, he was dead.
Sara kept recording when police arrived and took Cerros Aleman into custody. He killed S'mores, the family goat, 6 chickens, and injured several other animals, including Brownie. This goat lost his horn and eye.
Even that day, I couldn't see. I couldn't turn to look at the goats.
When police asked him why he did it, court documents indicated he wanted to return back to his home country, and that's why he was killing the animals. A difficult excuse for Sara and her family to understand.
So it was like, well, if you wanted to go back to your country, why did you have to do what you did? They're part of our family.
Oh boy. Illegal migrant abuses and kills family animals because he wants to be deported back to his country. Oh man, we're in big, big trouble, huh? Family says Dallas sanitation workers dog napped their pet.
Texas, a Dallas family says sanitation workers picked up more than trash. 2 investigations are now open into the disappearance of a pricey, exotic bully near his home. Rocco the dog back with his family tonight, and they're telling our Marvin Hurst what those 3 long days were like without him.
The Lopez family loves animals. As a matter of fact, they have 4. There are 2 exotic bullies. One of them is named Rocco, and boy, has he slobbered up quite the bond.
I have feelings for Rocco. Rocco's like the best dog in the house.
Josiah Lopez let Rocco out on the morning of March 19th.
He said that he went upstairs to get dressed. He did hear the trash truck blow. When he looked out there, he said it was a pink lady that was laughing. So I was like, pink lady.
The dog they dressed in Dallas Cowboy gear went missing. Josiah's smile with his brother in this picture turned to tears at school.
It hurt me, but it hurt me more to see my kids hurt.
Jasmine Lopez says she drove around her neighborhood investigating until she saw a sanitation truck from the city of Dallas.
I said, have you guys seen a gray dog? And the guy was like, no. But the lady never looked up at me.
The wife and mother's instinct led her to Dallas's sanitation department. She requested a copy of video, which the city confirms comes from cameras put on its truck.
Oh my God. Hey!
So we are blurring out the faces of the workers connected to this truck because they have not been arrested.
See, that one open. That must be their dog. Oh my God, baby. I want this damn dog.
The front camera is in black and white. A side view shows the arm of the woman driving the truck is wearing pink. Back to the front view. About 16 seconds after the woman declares she wants the dog.
Hey! Put the dog in. Give me the dog. Yeah. Give me the dog. For real? Yeah. It went in his backyard. My son calls it dog napping. He basically dog napped my baby. So it makes me more like, why would you steal somebody's dog? People don't understand these dogs are important to people. They're family. I got a dog, bro.
The family says the sanitation department contacted workers who sent 2 men to return the family's dog. In a statement, Dallas says in part, quote, "The city is aware of this incident and has confirmed that the dog has been returned to its owner. We are actively conducting a thorough investigation into the matter."
Why wasn't she arrested? Why wasn't she arrested? Why weren't they both arrested? Body cam of triggered New Yorker. He keys Trump supporters' car in Florida. Oh, I'm telling you, man. That's why I have been saying don't identify yourself in public with bumper stickers or clothing that you wear, because people are flipping out of their minds.
How are you? Good. Stop. So I'm guessing you probably know what this is about, right?
Victor Alpha.
No. Oh, I just checked my truck to see if I hit anything. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm investigating a criminal. It's a criminal investigation. Okay. So before I ask you anything, I'm going to read you your rights real quick. Okay. And then I'm going to show you a video and you can tell me if you remember what it's about after that. Okay.
1125 code 5.
You have the right to remain silent. Dixie? To the green Toyota Tundra. It was not raining.
Okay. I don't recall. Yeah, I thought it was raining, but.
Okay. The green Toyota Tundra pickup truck that you walked up to. You don't remember what you did?
I walked by a truck, yeah.
Okay. What did you do to it?
I scratched it.
Why? Was it the bumper sticker? Because they've got a ton of security footage there, man.
Okay, so
I see you walking behind it and you look over at it and she's got a sticker that says, "Let's go Brandon" or something.
Yeah. I guess it infuriated me.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Was that it? That's the only reason you did it? You don't know who owns the truck or anything?
Yeah, that's the only reason I did it.
Okay. So you went on I could see you go on the passenger side, and you left a big scrape on that side, and then I saw you do a circle in the parking lot to come back to it, and then go to the.
That's the only side I did.
Okay, she's already got a few dents and stuff on it, but she somehow knew that those were new scratches, and I could see like something black in your left hand.
Yeah, I won't.
Was it a key
I
or
did it.
Was it a key?
There was my key fob. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have that with you? It's in the truck.
Yeah.
Do you have your ID with you as well?
Oh, well, I guess he thought he wasn't going to get caught. If you want to watch the end of this, I'll put the link in, you can. But man, yeah, people are flipping nuts. They're just mentally insane. And there's an awful lot of them. I don't even know a word that describes this country anymore. A man who was shot dead by Seattle police after trying to meet up with an 11 and 7-year-old identified as Bruce Minnelli, a former high-ranking military officer, had a powerful position with the Navy, served as a captain and doctor at Guantanamo Bay, pedophile, arrested during human trafficking and prostitution sting in 2017, charged with sex crimes. Well, he was out, ready to do it again.
There you go, it's the time to settle. Go. Shots.
Okay, he's dead, but I think that's where overkill, that saying overkill. Ooh. It did look like he was reaching in his pocket. Don't know what he was reaching for. No doubt the cop thought it was a gun. But people are sick. Very, very sick. All right. I'm going to call it a night. Our world is a mess. Try not to be a mess. Just try not to be a mess. Don't do things to other people when you don't have to suffer the consequences. You walk away and you're fine, but others suffer the consequences. Don't be a greedy, self-centered shithead out there. We have to bring our best self, which means not a greedy, self-centered shithead. And I will be leaving on Sunday, so I'm going to be here tomorrow night and live honestly and speak honestly. It's a hard thing to do in this country. It's very hard, very hard. And if you haven't done any work on yourself, you aren't doing it. No, you're not doing it. So, take a look in the mirror. We've all done shitty things. And I will say that until you get to the point where you realize the damage or the hurt or the pain that you brought other people, and you can actually feel that, you probably will never change. It's important to change, especially now. Many people are in need. Help out in your communities. I'll say it again. Pick up extra food when you're shopping, drop it off at a food pantry. Pick up extra pet food, drop it off at an animal shelter. Help your neighbors. It is the only way to make the world a better place. And that's our job. That's our responsibility, as far as I'm concerned. Manifest that humanity. What area am I moving to in Texas? I've had so many very bad experiences with subscribers that I'm scared now. Do I need help when I get to Texas? Would I love to be able to say, hey, I'm moving here. Any subscribers around? Maybe help unload my car, please. It's one flight up and I am tired and I don't have much strength anymore. I'd love to be able to do that. I don't know who is who anymore. And I have suffered the consequences and continue to suffer the consequences of trying to trust subscribers. The ripple effect is very real. They're fine. They go on about their life. The liars, the betrayers, the stealers, the yada, 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 they're fine. I'm not fine. And I'm alone. So as I have said, when you are someone who needs help and you're alone, you get to see how important trust is. It is the number one, thing that creates healthy relationships. And I'm sorry to say, the awake crowd thinks they're better than the sleepers. If you take offense to what I'm saying, look in the mirror and ask yourself why. Subscribers have done a number on my life. And I'm pissed about that. That does not make me happy at all. So, on that note, I thank everybody for showing up, and I hope to see you tomorrow night. Trust is everything in a relationship. Everything. Everything. But people who are comfortable, they don't need it. They don't need it. They've got family, they've got their life, they're fine. They don't even think about the importance of not betraying people. It's quite something. It's very sad. But they're just like the politicians. No different. No different. No different. To find out that there are so many Americans who, over nothing, will destroy your life. Are they any different than the IDF? Are they any different than the military soldiers who destroy other people's, innocent people's lives? No, they're no different. They're that violent. Don't do things that fuck up people's lives. you know? And I'm not just speaking for myself, speaking for others that I've heard from. Time to bring our best self to life. On that note, be safe, be safe. Awareness, awareness, awareness of your surroundings, whether you're shopping or in your driveway. You have little children or grandchildren, keep a very close eye on them. A very close eye on them when you're out and about. Yeah. And have awareness of your own self. Awareness of how you're feeling, how you might respond to a situation, and then that awareness is so hardwired that you realize, okay, this is not a good situation for me to respond with a whole lot of anger, any kind of drama. Pull yourself away from it, because the truth is lost in drama. That's why I friggin' hate it. The truth is gone in drama. Walk away. Walk away. Save yourself from all of the craziness. You'll have more energy. You'll have more energy, that's for sure. So, alrighty. On that note, good night and good luck. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Ciao.